Hello, beautiful ones. So I'm here for your astrology forecast. So you may have known that we are entering eclipse season. And oh, with eclipses, there is like an opportunity to really reset things. If you think of the eclipse, the light goes out, um, literally. So it's like the light going out within us. And like when your lights go off at home or your power goes out and you switch the fuse, think of it like that. So it's really an opportunity to let go of old patterns so that we can move forward. And with eclipses, the frequency is just completely new. So we've got an opportunity to start fresh. So this eclipse is a new moon solar eclipse in Libra on the 14th of October at 21 degrees and 8 minutes. So check your time zone. If you're on GMT, it's happening at 6:54 p.m. I know you may have seen, I know I've been going through some big changes and I literally had tonsillitis and it stopped me in my tracks for about 10 days. So if you don't create that space to reflect on life, the eclipse or life will make you stop and reflect on things. Okay, so learn from my lesson and create that space for reflection. Even if it's half an hour you can find to just look at life and what is working, what isn't, and just reassess it. And I'll go into it, what that means for you now. So the first eclipse on this axis happened on the 20th of April this year in Aries. So because this is a new moon in Libra, it's like it's setting the tone for our relationships, right? So it's really helpful to think about your close relationships and think about, like, what is the storyline? Is there a common theme you see within your relationships? There's those attachment styles. Is it that you're avoidant or insecure or secure? And I forget the other one. But things like that, noticing what happens, are you the one that initiates? For a while, I noticed that I was the one always initiating things with certain friends, and that kind of got a bit exhausting, right? So noticing what you're doing and the things that maybe are unconscious that you just do. So, with an eclipse, it's potent energy. As I said, things are not the same after. So it can be a tumultuous time. It's a big shift in energy. So, you sensitive souls, please go gently with yourselves. And as I said, create that space. Sometimes thinking about things, the answer doesn't come, right? So I'm not saying think about it. Maybe go meditate on this idea of what is the storyline in your relationship, or go for a walk with that question in your mind and the answer will come intuitively. So a vision I got this morning in my meditation is, like those tectonic plates where they shift and they move. Sometimes we need friction in our lives for us to grow and evolve, right? We need that conflict or that uncomfortable feeling to be able to move beyond and be better human beings. So just think of it as these tectonic plates that are maybe moving and adjusting things for you. And it may be chaotic, but actually, if you've been in limbo, and I know a lot of people have been limbo, myself included, I really lost my mojo with that tonsillitis. And it's like the spark went out of me, right? To be completely honest, like, things in my business have felt quite stagnant for a while. So I knew that this, literally the throat, it's a new way of speaking and doing things, expressing myself in life and business I had to look at. So whatever's going for you, if you felt like you've been in limbo, trust me, this eclipse is going to knock you out of limbo. And we just have to trust, right? Because sometimes it's not clear in that eclipse what is coming, but trust and move with each day and really trust what your heart and soul is guiding you to. Yeah. So, things are going to shift for the better. And at this new moon, it's conjunct Mercury. So, you know, there may be some indecision, or you may not be clear about how to communicate, you know, these patterns or behaviors that maybe have become clearer for us. And it's also the South Node is conjunct the new moon. So South Node represents like our past lives and things that are karmic. So because it's in Libra, Libra is all about our relationships, how we relate to others. And Libra is very diplomatic. It's, you know, anyone that's Libra and loves to keep the harmony in situations. So you may feel like your scales are a bit like this at the minute, out of balance. But this new moon is that opportunity to just look at what relationships are working and what aren't, and how can you maybe inject a bit more peace and harmony in those relationships. So also because the South Node is here, it could be like you're noticing that some of those relationships are actually quite karmic. You know, when you get deja vu when you meet certain people, chances are you've probably been with them in a different life. So it's an opportunity to start afresh and create new behaviors and new patterns in those relationships. So it's really helping us bring awareness at this new moon. And Pluto, we love Pluto, is in a square to the new moon. So, you know, you probably heard me talk about Pluto before. It's all about initiation and really embracing, well, looking at our shadows. It's not easy to look at our shadows. But if you've been through any Pluto transits, or you have Pluto heavily in your chart, you'll probably understand on a psychic level this energy of, you know, being plunged into that underworld so that we can be initiated. So it may feel like we're being initiated in our lives, right? Where are you being initiated? And I know it's really hard when those, you know, we see our shadows and we're like, oh my God, we have so much shame around those parts of us. But how can you just accept those parts of you, just embrace them, you know, because actually the more we shine a light on that darkness, the more whole and the more self-aware we are, right? Because often when we're not aware of our shadows, we can get triggered by other people, and those parts of that other person we see because we don't want to own those parts in ourselves, right? And I can see that Pluto at work in my own life. Yesterday I was at my part-time job and somebody was asking me about my business. And I could sense it was like I was trying to justify what I did because they weren't quite on this wavelength. And it was like I was trying to prove what I did, that it was worthy. It was almost like I was trying to seek that external validation, right? We all do it at points. So just look at, where are you seeking control or like external validation from others? Because you are worthy just as you are, you know, without one more thing or without one more pound in your bank account, you are worthy as you are. Yeah. So particularly this Pluto in Capricorn might bring up, you know, patterns around how do we control the how in our career and business, right? It's so hard to unhook from the how sometimes, isn't it? I really know that myself. So where are you getting too stuck in the how of like how you're growing your art business? And how can you just let go and really lean into that discomfort as a way through? Because there's always a lesson in that discomfort. And so we've also got the North Node, obviously in an opposition. So I didn't mention I said at the beginning, we're in this eclipse season. We've shifted to the Aries-Libra axis. So we had that eclipse in Aries back in April. So when I say axis, Libra and Aries are opposite in the chart. So Libra is about relationships and relating to others, and Aries is about the self and you know, being leaders, being courageous in life. So with that North Node opposite this new moon, I talked about the South Node of karmic relationships. That North Node is helping us really step into our inner leader, to be more courageous, you know, because we ultimately need connection as human beings. We need the other to be seen, but we also need to see ourselves. We need to acknowledge ourselves. So it's shining a light on that and helping us, you know, create more balance between having time alone and time with others. I've definitely felt like a hermit recently with being ill. So I'm ready to be connected to people again. So yeah, what conflict have you experienced lately? Because again, conflict's uncomfortable and we want to avoid it, but there's always a lesson there. There is always a lesson, however hard it is. Just embrace that and maybe journal on what that's teaching you. And then we've got Mars trine Saturn. So Mars rules Aries, and Aries is a very initiating sign. So Aries and Libra are both cardinal, so they initiate, they are natural leaders. So this is really helping us be actually a bit more considered about our actions, you know, without jumping in. Saturn is being sensible and going, okay, you've got this impulse or this instinct to, you know, run a marathon or whatever it is. But what are the steps you need to take? Almost helping us have a bit more of a plan that will help us, you know, with those actions and those impulses that we want to move forward with. So it's helping us with discipline, to be more disciplined. And then we've got Chiron opposite the new moon. So Chiron is your wound. And, you know, the wound, again, there's a lot of themes here, isn't there? I believe the wound is the gift. Talk about Chiron's wound is the gift. It's the wounded healer. He couldn't heal from this poison arrow in him, but yet that was his strength, because he could empathize with that, with others that had that wound. So with Chiron in Aries, it relates to our inner child, the ways that we've maybe abandoned. You know, where in your life do you abandon your inner child? And when I say inner child, I mean that part of you that is curious, that just wants to play for fun, right, without an outcome. We all need space to be creative. You know, whether that's you paint, you write, or something just for you without an outcome attached. So really lean into this at this new moon, because that can be really healing. Give yourself time for self-expression. So yeah, it's shining a light on that. You know, where maybe do we doubt that we can lead others? Where do we have low self-esteem? And, you know, where could we be more assertive in our lives as well? And this relation, you know, these patterns and behaviors that we get into are so ingrained that it is hard to change, right? And I think just noticing that behavior or that pattern, you're mostly 80% of the way there. Okay, so don't beat yourself up, just notice, oh, it's that thought again, or it's, oh, I'm doing that same thing again. For example, one of mine is, I procrastinate my painting. I'll do everything else and then I'll leave it till 9 p.m. to start painting, right? And then I've got to go, then I want to go to bed. So just look at those patterns that are not serving you. And then we've got Uranus is in a quincunx with this new moon. So Uranus likes to shake things up. We're not getting away with playing safe, right? Uranus is like, okay, I'm going to shake things up because I want you to see this new awareness, right? I want you to think outside the box. It's almost like a lightning bolt comes and then there's a new perspective that opens up for you. So although this is difficult, because when two planets are in two completely different signs like Libra and Taurus, they don't understand each other. Like Taurus is like, I'm seeking security, and I like structure, and Libra is a bit more fluid, likes to go with the flow a bit more. So it's really balancing this need for connection with another, and also having space for ourselves and leading ourselves in our lives, right? Not being so codependent. So that Uranus is likely to shake things up in relationships. Maybe you suddenly have an argument or a disagreement with somebody. There might be something that disturbs your sense of peace and security in some way. But see it as a blessing. There will be a lesson from that with this eclipse. And Uranus helps us think outside the box. So as I said, if we've got stuck in those patterns and behaviors in our relationships, that Uranus will create a situation that's going to almost shake us or wake us up from that old way of being. So it might bring more spontaneity to your relationships, or it might just be that opportunity to be more curious and think outside the box in those relationships. Maybe there's that same friend you've known for years, you go to dinner with them every time you see them, and now it's like, that's a pattern, let's do something different, let's create a memory together, or let's go on a hike. You want to do something different and just expand your awareness. So yeah, this eclipse is, because it's a new moon in Libra, it is setting the tone for our relationships. So just explore that storyline and be gentle with yourself, create space to connect with your intuition, because all the answers are within you. Okay. And just to say, if you'd like support and you're an artist, I'm very excited. I'm going to be running the Artist's Way, a group for the Artist's Way, starting November. I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in that as well. But happy eclipse, my loves. Do let me know what is happening for you, and share with me below, what parts of your life, if are Libra and Aries in your chart. Let me know below. All right, my loves. Bye for now.